of the nozzle, so it's just a big spray. And what I normally do, I go by the software and move the service position on the backside and do everything from the backside. So let's move it there. See, my service position is at 6" now. I want to drive it all the way out. My max is 19.7. Here. 6 wide. I'm going to go to maintenance. I'm going to say move to the service location. Now it's all the way out. So now we can go from the backside. Okay. Let's do the back. So, do not use a metal brush to brush it. Just wipe it down very gently. I got customers that use a toothbrush because it's smooth enough that it will not damage it. Because the way that those guys are made is one of those nozzles has a tube within the inner tube. So flux is going to come out in the center. The outer ring is going to be air. So that's what's going to fan out your flux. So they might get cloggy if you got an isolate flux or stuff like that, that it's kind of spinning more than spraying.
Okay.
So you want to make sure, and
you said a toothbrush?
Yeah. And depending of your flux, if your flux is a water base, you just use water to clean it. If it's alcohol based, you use alcohol.
Okay.
So it all depends on
your
your
flux. But you never take this apart.
You can,
but you don't.
But that's another chance you have to lose my number. But okay, so just I'm going to show you what's inside there. Let me get my wrench.
How often?
I would say on a daily basis at the end of the shift.
That's okay, let the operator do this.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. But you don't want them to get inside it.
No. All right, so we got
one flux,
flux,
one air, flux, flux, air, or this could be solvent as well. So it's all done from here.
Okay.
And this is air for the air knife.
Okay.
So the air knife is actually something that you could use or not use. Sometimes it is used to actually help to push a flux into the barrel or squeegee the board.
Okay.
So if you got way too much flux, then instead of using the air knife, I would tweak my setting that I don't have that much flux. Okay, this is what we've got inside here. Okay, that is a new version. So it used to be the 2 high-speed valves were in here, now they're in here.
Okay, the nozzles are here.
Yes. So this is where your 8 nozzles are. So you're coming from one line, split in 2, split them on 4 each. So it makes like a spider web. When they're new, they're very good. If you never take them apart, they will be good. If you start taking them apart on a regular base, they will come looser and looser and they're going to pop out.
Well, I mean, you should be fine in there.
Yeah. So this is what it looks on the inside.
Okay.
So the high-speed valve are here now.
What is this?
Okay, so this is where your solvent and your flux is coming in. So your flux line is the yellow one.
Okay.
Your solvent is the red one. And those are your high-speed valves. So that's the one that's going to dictate the amount of flux that you're going to put on your board. And we'll go through those as setting from the computer. We'll just put the And as far as wiping this down, they can do it from the inside.
Okay.
It's just that a lot of time it's easier to bring it out, so they're wiping this, they're wiping this. because you want this whole thing to be as clean as possible.
You know, when they're cleaning this on a daily basis, they don't have to move the nozzle, but they still can pull this out
Yes,
and
but
clean this.
Yes, but the nozzle's going to be.
Yeah, the nozzle will be up there.
Yeah.
But as far as cleaning this,
And I got customer that goes as far as wrapping everything in foil paper, like the inside here, this here, so it's easier to pull a piece of foil, change it, than not doing it, and after a month it's all crusty and all of that. So. Okay, so once they did all their cleaning and everything is clean, you want to push it back. Don't forget to lock it in.
just tighten it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if they don't, it will walk itself out. Then you will not have fun. So, okay, as far as the control box. So this is the control box for your Fluxer. Okay, so those are your two main incoming. So you got air and nitrogen. You want those to be around 60. Because your max pressure that you can blow is actually 50 psi. So you want to be at least at 60, so you know that you'll be able to achieve 50 if you need to.
And what does the nitrogen do for the Fluxer?
Okay, the nitrogen is actually an OSHA requirement. That you're gonna put alcohol flux here. It's gonna be pressurized.
Yeah.
They need to pressurize it with nitrogen.
Oh, okay. Not.
That's the only reason. It's not from us. It's actually OSHA requirement. If it would be a water-based, I would tell you just pressurize it the way that you are now and you're going to be fine. But it's an alcohol-based, it should be pressurized with nitrogen.
Okay.
Just to prevent the chance of an explosion or whatsoever.
So, excuse me. So basically, the air to the machine is just for the Fluxer. We don't use it anywhere else on the machine.
That would be correct. Yes, on this one, yes.
Okay.
So air and nitrogen goes here. So you got one for your atomizing pressure. So the happy spot for this guy is about 30 psi.
What now?
30 psi on the atomizing pressure. This is the pressure that's going to be blown on the outer ring. It's how you're going to fan out your flux. If you're too high, you're going to break down those droplets so thin that it's going to be a very fine mist. If you're too low, you're going to be spitting on your board. So 30 seems to be the happy place for most of the flux. And the last one is your air knife pressure. So this is the air knife, is how hard are you blowing? I don't like to exceed 10 psi. Because anything greater than 10 psi, you're going to squeegee all the flux off of the board.
10 psi.
So you want to be very gentle with this if you're going to use it.
Okay.
And it's controllable by the software if you use it or not.
All right. And these you had 60 and 60.
Yep. So those stay there. So it's your incoming line. So those stays there. This one at 30. This one.
Okay.
I don't recommend higher than 10. So.
Okay.
And you also got a control panel from back here that you could actually move it from service position. So now it went back home. So instead of doing it by the computer, they could do it by ear.
Okay.
So they do service, it brings ahead here.
Oh, okay. So you do it right
Yep.
back.
Yep. So all the controls here are the same as on
We won't tell them about all that.
on the computer. Solvent. Okay, so on this one, I think the solvent tank is probably plastic
Yeah.
with a little pump on the side. So this one is a pressurized one. So that's why, again, we need nitrogen because it is a flammable. Okay, so then you got your little squid here. So you got So whatever is yellow goes to the flux.
Yellow to the flux.
Yep. And red goes to solvent. See?
All yellow to flux.
See, and they're also labeled with yellow tape and red tape.
That's the flux tank.
Correct. And like I showed you yesterday, there's a little 75 micron filter inside here that might need to be replaced. If you're changing to a water-based flux, you want to make sure that you replace those filters, not to cross-contaminate your flux and solvent. Okay, and the way that they go is, those are your flow switch, and they're labeled as far as solvent or flux. So they cannot mess them up. And the flux one is actually part of the yellow line. So this one goes to the flux, so it goes here. Straight in. This one goes in here, so that's the flux going to the fluxer. This is your pressure. So this one will bring itself to whatever pressure you got on the computer.
Okay.
This one, there's a big label on it, or used to be, do not exceed 15 psi on the solvent. Let's plug this guy in. Out. Solvent, you want to keep it around 15. Do not exceed 15.
15?
Yep. So whenever the operator needs to refill either of those tanks, first thing that they do, they unplug the pressure, they bleed off the pressure. Now they're able to open this guy here. Because if this guy is under pressure, they will not be able to open it.
Okay.
And sometimes it's a struggle to pull this thing out. Be very careful with this. I have seen them getting stuck here, and as you're refilling, they fall in. This one is not a problem, it's not that deep. This one, you're in flux up to here, so be very careful. And once they refill the whole thing, they just plug the pressure back in, or they could unplug the whole tank and go somewhere else to refill it. Like this one is still under pressure, so I cannot open this guy. So I would need to release this here, release the pressure. And then I'm able to open it. Once they're done, plug the pressure back on, and they're good to go. And the flow switch will give an alarm that you're low on flux or solvent. I normally set those alarms to repeat themselves every 5 minutes, because even if they get a low, it's not a showstopper. You got about that much flux left. Pretty much have flux for half a day. So they don't have to stop now, but it's going to keep them re-alarming until they take care of it. And those things actually sit inside here. So everything is behind closed door. Last thing is finger cleaner. Okay. Proxy sensor. This looks for this guy to be down. If it's not down, your pump will not come out. If ever you feel like you want to work out on one day, there's a speed wrench that fits here. That's your up and down.
Okay.
So if the motor dies, this is the way that you bring the pump down. This is yours, by the way. That's a. This is not lipstick, but it is NEC's.
A little bit easier with both.
Yes. Or the brush, I mean.
You said all the tools that you were using are in the...
Yeah, that's all yours.
Okay.
Even this is used. But I took it out, but I did not. Okay, so when we're doing the calibration of the leak clearance, see that little wire here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is what we calibrate. So this wire actually goes to that long screw here. So that's what measures the height of the pot.
Okay.
So when we're doing the calibration, we're just giving it a reference that, okay, if you move that much, you will change by that much of voltage. That's pretty much all what we're doing. Again, you got grease fitting here. So you got four of those legs. There's grease fitting on top and bottom. So 6 months or so, one squirt, you're done. Okay, finger cleaner. So this is the catch screen. So that will catch anything that's coming back from your finger cleaner. It needs to be kept clean. Last week, my customer had something growing in there because they were using water, and so it was green and moving.
On this, we use an alcohol-based flux. We use 50/50
Alcohol and water, tap water.
tap water.
Tap water. If ever you switch to a water-based flux, you could put straight tap water. You could put a drop of bleach that's going to prevent algae from growing.
Okay. And also on the filters on the tanks.
Yes.
If I'm swapping from
Alcohol to
I
water.
need to change the filter.
Yes. Or rinse them really, really, really good, but it's cheaper to swap them.
Okay.
There's a ball valve behind here. So there's a ball valve about right there, so you can actually drain this. So those lines here will bring liquid to your finger cleaner. This is the drain, so it will drain back here. There's also a little, let's see if I can find it. Yeah. It's not easy to see. There's a little brass valve here.
Okay.
So this will control the flow that you're shipping up there. So you don't want a gusher coming back, so you want it very gently trickling back.
Yeah.
So you could actually set up the flow with that brass valve. Level should be about right here. So you don't want to have the level up here. So you want it about, there you go. That should be close enough. So this is where your level is going to be.
Okay.
There's a flow switch. If it gets low, it will alarm on the screen.
Okay.
Those are your nitrogen lines. So this is where we're putting nitrogen through the system. And that is a different piece. Okay, we'll go from the front. I'll show you from the should not. Well, yes and no. It is a diffuser rod that you will need to clean. And I'll show you.
Okay.
And those diffuser rod actually screw in, and now the pot is in. But there's a fitting here. If you come from this side, see that the fitting right there? Yeah, so there's a quick,
Okay.
and then there's a tube that goes into there.
Yeah.
So the tube is your diffuser. So this is what needs to be cleaned, because they will build up dross and solder ball on top of your diffuser. So your diffuser is like a porous stone, but it's actually stainless steel. So it kind of evens out the flow of the nitrogen out of that diffuser, so it's even. If you don't clean them, you're going to be putting nitrogen, a lot of nitrogen in one spot. So you want to even flow out through the whole
So,
thing.
pot down, pot out would be the best way to do that.
Yes, it's the only way.
And then you just take it, pull it out,
Unscrew it, pull it out.
and then clean it with.
There's different theory on that one. I had customers that hit them with a torch. I'm not a fan of it.
They done what?
A torch, so they eat it up. Because they're going to remelt the solder that has built
You
up
said it
on
was
top.
stainless steel, right?
Yes.
It should mostly just wipe off, right?
It should, but it's a combination of flux and solder. So therefore, you have flux, solder tends to stick there to it. I have customers that put them in a ultrasonic tank. Easiest way. Order new ones, swap them.
Put a new one in?
Yeah.
They're not that expensive.
They are. They are. I mean, and don't quote me on the price, but I think for a set it's something like $700.
If you clean that like you're supposed to,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have that problem.
Yeah.
So what is the time frame on cleaning that?
All depends how the machine's going to run, the production is going to run, the amount of nitrogen.
That's just something I have to figure out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the one thing you don't want to do is take a brush and brush it, because then you're going to pack it solid. So you don't want to do that. So you can soak them in mineral spirit, might break down that flux. So you soak them overnight or on the weekend.
I have a good flux cleaner we use.
Okay. The best flux cleaner that I know, Purple Power. What? Purple Power.
Purple Power.
It will eat flux like there's no tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I never tried it.
And they sell it at Walmart, AutoZone. It is cheap. It is biodegradable.
This ain't cheap, so
I mean,
if it works.
at Walmart you buy, I think it's a 2.5 gallon for $12. It is cheap and it does the job. I mean,
I'll give it a shot.
I had a customer that greased in the trap.
That way it gets on when you pull it back
Yeah.
in.
So then you take your dry chain, you shove it through, and it will pick up the grease as it goes.
Okay.
One more time. AP1 clay base. The only grease we recommend.
You forgot to do
For the up and down of the solder pot. It's there. Those are solder blanket. You guys leave your pot on 24/7? Perfect. If ever you need to shut down your pot, lay this
covered up.
on the pot so it will not lose as much heat, and when it fires up, because when they fire up, they kind of do the volcano, so they're pressurized on the inside. As soon as they see a crack, they spit.
Okay.
Shiny side, solder side.
Shiny side down.
Yep. And it's actually
Oh, okay.
this side up. So therefore the shiny side is on the solder. You got a bunch of spoon scrapers. You got more scrapers, though, and handle tools, spare fingers, spare clip, light bulbs, nut drivers.
I may let them guys have, I don't know, I may keep that for myself.
Yeah, if you're a mason, it works great. But those are all yours. This is all the documentation for the machine.
Okay.
So, this is all of this here is all for the frequency driver and all this, so those are the manual for those. This is the flash drive, so everything is on this. Software, bill of materials, electrical schematic, QA report, the manuals are all on this flash drive.
All right, so if we ever lost a computer, I got it right there.
Yeah, and cigars, okay? Those are for your gearbox, okay? So there's a gear that will drive this way and transition this way. So those little gray box at the end that you have to grease once a year. If ever you need to replace one or work on one, as you pull the shaft, you push one of those in.
Okay.
If you don't, you will be chasing bearing all day. So that's why we give them to you. So
If I ever have to do that, I'll have you on the phone the first time, you know?